Welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we're looking at something that is literally a total game changer for how we develop software. We're talking about Claude Code subagents, essentially how you can optimize your entire development workflow by delegating tasks to your very own AI development team. Now, if you've been relying on just a single AI assistant to help you write code, well, buckle up. We are about to scale that up in a massive, massive way.
Just imagine this scenario for a second. What if your AI wasn't just a solo coder typing away at a single keyboard? What if instead it was actually a manager? Picture your AI assistant having the ability to delegate tasks out to a whole team of specialized experts. You know, one agent handling all your unit tests, another diving deep into security audits, and yet another scrutinizing your user interface. Honestly, that's exactly the reality we're unpacking today.
Section 1. Meet your AI coding team.
Okay, let's dive into this by defining exactly what a subagent is within the Claude Code ecosystem. A subagent is basically an independent AI process. It doesn't just share a brain with your main session, it's configured with its own highly specific system prompt, a strict set of authorized tools, and this is the real magic here, an isolated context window. That means it can execute highly specialized tasks without getting bogged down or distracted by the rest of your giant project.
Think of it like this. It's a fantastic metaphor for agency. Your main Claude session, that's your senior developer. This senior dev understands the overarching logic, the business requirements, the whole big picture. But when a specific, maybe tedious, or highly specialized task pops up, the senior dev delegates it. The subagent steps in as your specialized junior dev or QA tester. It takes that isolated task, does the heavy lifting, and then reports straight back to the boss.
Section 2. The power of context isolation.
If you've ever used AI on a massive code base, you know all too well the absolute headache of context overload. You feed it too many files, too much project history, and suddenly the AI just loses the plot. It starts hallucinating. Well, context isolation completely prevents this. By offloading those specific tasks to subagents, your main session stays so much cleaner and trimmer. Developers feel this huge sense of relief, right? Their main thread isn't cluttered with excess data or distracted by unrelated history, and that leads directly to way better, more accurate results.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how resources are separated to maximize your efficiency. The main session acts as the task initiator, handling broad project data with full tool access. Meanwhile, the subagents have a completely clean context, isolated to one specific workflow, and they use highly restricted tools. For instance, a UI testing subagent might only have access to Playwright and literally nothing else. This separation of concerns is exactly how modern, efficient engineering teams operate in the real world.
Section 3. Building a UI/UX reviewer.
Setting this up right in your terminal is surprisingly straightforward. Chronologically, you just start by executing the /agents command directly in your Claude Code chat session. From there, you select the project scope, which just means anyone working on this specific codebase can use this new team member. Finally, you prompt Claude with a quick summary, asking it to generate an expert UI/UX engineer whose sole job is to review React components in a browser, take some screenshots, and offer feedback.
During this setup process, Claude walks you through a few specific configuration choices. You define the scope, in our case, using Playwright to view components. You pick your AI model, let's say Sonic 4, and you can even pick a custom terminal update color, like, say, purple. That way, you instantly visually recognize when your subagent is speaking to you in the terminal. Once you've got that dialed in, Claude builds this giant detailed prompt and saves the whole thing as a markdown file right inside your project, tucked away in a .claude/agents directory.
So the crucial point is this specific best practice right here. When you are configuring a reviewer subagent, always unselect the edit tools. Think about it. You definitely don't want to give your automated QA tester the power to blindly edit your production files, right? You want that subagent to purely analyze, open up the browser, look at the UI, and provide its feedback back to the senior dev. Restricting its power is absolutely key to keeping your codebase safe and stable.
Section 4. The automated feedback loop.
This setup creates this beautiful, fully automated feedback loop. It kicks off with task initiation. Maybe use a custom command like make UI component. Your main session writes that initial code. Then comes delegation, where the main thread automatically invokes your new subagent to review the work. The subagent dives into isolated execution to gather its data. Then it returns structured feedback, leading straight into refinement, where the main session implements those requested edits.
It's like watching two devs literally talk back and forth until the job is completely done. To see this in action, imagine you ask your main session to build a clean, modern modal with a semi-transparent backdrop. The main session codes it up, then calls in the reviewer. Honestly, it's fascinating to watch. The subagent independently starts up your dev server. It uses the Playwright Mac MCP, which is a protocol that lets the AI literally control a web browser to open a separate window. It navigates over to the preview page, clicks the close buttons, captures screenshots, it even resizes the browser width to test out mobile responsiveness. And then, it reports back to the main thread with a 5 out of 5 stars production-ready rating. All of that happens completely autonomously.
Section 5. Keep humans in the loop.
I have to share this quote from the Net Ninja tutorial that covers this exact topic. He says, Claude Code does get a little bit giddy sometimes. It likes to use the work it's done elsewhere in the application. I just love that. It's a tasteful, kind of funny way of pointing out that, yes, AI can sometimes get a little overeager to please you, and that can lead it to take shortcuts you definitely didn't ask for.
Let's look at a specific AI blind spot to see what that means. In that exact modal example we just talked about, the one that got a glowing 5-star visual rating, there was a bit of a catch. To document and display the interactive demos of that modal on the preview page, Claude incorrectly reused a completely separate card component from somewhere else in the application. So visually, sure, it looks stunning. But structurally, under the hood, the underlying code implementation was actually slightly off.
And this is exactly why human review remains absolutely non-negotiable. Visual perfection in a browser does not guarantee correct underlying code logic, period. You still need to manually verify the subagent's feedback and double-check those edits your main session is making. If you just rely purely on your AI team to do everything for you, you're going to fall out of the loop super fast. And the real danger there? You completely lose the ability to navigate your own codebase when you inevitably need to dig into the weeds to fix a critical bug. You have to remain the true master of your project.
Which leaves us with this final, vital question to ponder. As our day-to-day role shifts away from writing every single line of code and moves towards managing a highly efficient team of specialized AI agents, how will you ensure you don't lose touch with your own codebase? It's a delicate balance, right? Embracing massive efficiency gains while maintaining that essential human oversight. Think about how you're going to set up your workflows to make sure you stay firmly in the driver's seat. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope it completely changes how you approach your next development project.